Welcome to another episode of On the Capo Stand podcast. I am your host David, and alongside yours truly, our good friend Amin. How you doing, Amin?
Been better, David. How you doing, my friend? How are you
I'm
feeling,
doing.
man?
I'm doing as good as anybody that has dealt with a sick baby over the weekend. Anybody that has children of that age knows what I'm talking about. And for those of us that have returned to this age, uh, it's gonna be a nightmare. And I think I heard her just waking up. So, guys, this is gonna be the dynamic as we go along. One of the things I wanted to let people know is that um, John is not gonna be with us the rest of the season. He has some issues with his family, and we wish him the best. He's a good dude, and definitely we're gonna miss him in the show. And Ahmed, I gotta go, and I'll be right back.
All right. Sounds good, man. All right. So, for those of you watching with us, just as a reminder, you can watch us on Facebook, Twitch, um, YouTube, and we're online on Instagram, X, Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, Threads, Blue Sky, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify as On the Capo Stand, and on YouTube at David's Channel 76.
That's
And
right,
there
my
is a
friends. So
site that
here
I'm sure most of us has
we
seen in
have our
some
turn
point.
mic. For those that are watching us, here's my niece Ivy. Like I said on the last show, we are adopting her, and she's gonna be living with us. So she didn't get the memo. She didn't get the memo to remain quiet as we do the show. So we're gonna do it this the best we can. So anyhow, so like I was saying, with John, unfortunately, he has some situations that prevent him from being here on the show, and so yeah, so it's just gonna be the two of us until the end of the season. So hopefully, you guys are gonna continue to join us, right? Since we have the third mic here. All right, Mama, it's okay. Anyways, all right. So first topic is OCV. Um, Defeated Atlanta 2-1, and the goal scores were Sukada on the 15th minute, Freeman on the 38th, Petrasso on the 43rd, Mohammed on the 57th. The boys are back in action on the 28th of August at New York City, 5 p.m. And with a game at hand, they are a point away from a playoff position. Are you okay, Mom? So there's a whatchamacallit, there's a good possibility for us to go to the playoffs. So let's go ahead and support the boys, either by going to the games or simply by watching on TV. This game is going to be on Apple Plus. So okay, all right. So everybody that has a kid understands. So hold on a second, I'm
Yeah. And David, when he comes back, I'm gonna have him confirm this or not. But if I'm not mistaken, last year they were also OCB also did make the playoffs, and
all
I
right, I'm
think
back.
David last season they were also in the playoffs OCB, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Unfortunately, we missed the playoffs. I
Mhm.
gotta make a bottle. Just give me a second.
And it was to Columbus, right? It was to Columbus that
Correct.
yeah, that's what it was. Okay, I wasn't sure. So all right.
And we had the Orlando Pride, Ahmed.
Yes.
That you
All
just
right.
want to
So
speak right
Orlando
now.
Pride are just making some more news. The Orlando Pride has broken the NWSL regular season high of 18 games. They're on an 18 game winning streak, and they also set a new Pride record with 41 points, 12 wins, and 8 clean sheets. I'm really hoping that this is gonna rub off on uh, on the guys. Maybe we should have them all hang out at some point, David. What do you think? You think it'll rub off
Yeah,
on them?
my apologies, Ahmed,
You
and
think
to the
it'll? You
audience.
think if we had the Lions hang out with the Pride, maybe they'll rub off on them a
Yeah,
little bit.
and the thing about the Orlando Pride is that this is not an overnight thing that just happened. The coaching staff has created an environment where we fix the mistakes of the past. We brought in players that are bought into the system, that are not here just because it's just another paycheck. If anybody that knows me knows that I had a huge problem with some of the national team players that really playing for the national team is the focus, and this is just like a practice squad. And unfortunately, Orlando Pride was built around a ton of international players that when the international window will open, the Orlando Pride will be depleted of players, and then we will just suffer. But they went and signed the right players. I think Banda is just superb,
Yes.
superb player, knows for goal. And, I gotta say that the Orlando Pride are the favorites to win the championship this year. And we have to, hopefully they will do that. I think the Orlando Pride fans that go game in, game out, deserve to be rewarded. A lesson for all of us, especially with Orlando City, which we will be talking about in a minute. Um, Something that we need to seek. I gotta tell you, Orlando City went to Sporting Kansas City in Kansas this past weekend. Horrible. One of the things that we always say is football is a pound of talent, an ounce of luck. Definitely no
Sure.
luck for us. Football is played on grass, not on paper. Definitely, it was played on grass. Everybody, I was the narrators in Spanish were saying, "Well, I don't understand why this is happening because on paper, Orlando City should be the team beating this Sporting Kansas City." But again, it's simple. We just went in with the wrong attitude and we pay the price for it. And another thing that I always say is that football is cruel and unpredictable, and that's exactly what happened. We should have won this game, uh, and we didn't, and that puts us in a tight spot. We have 8 games left for the season, and not only that, my friends, we have a homestand of 3 games in a row. 3 of the 4 games at home that are left are gonna be just happening, boom, 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 right away. And with that, we have to win them. We cannot drop points at home if we are to make the playoffs. Because if we go down to decision day, depending on winning that game, anything can happen. And we're going to be playing against Atlanta United that will love to throw a monkey wrench on our season. Ahmed, anything that you have to add to
Ah,
that? If we have a
you
comment.
know, David, we talk about the team and we talk about when you play professionally. Um, it's not about winning, right? It's about winning. But if we had lost this game and we played well, it would be a different story, right?
Hmm.
But when you get to the level that we're all supposed to be at, or that they're all supposed to be at as professional athletes, it's about the mistakes that you make. That's how one team. It's like if you watch the best teams, they're both amazing talents, right? It's about who makes mistakes and
Correct.
are you able to capitalize on those mistakes. And honestly, that's what we did. Every other play, I was texting. I'm like, are we trying to see how many times we could turn the ball over
I
in the
agree.
first half?
Hmm.
It was crazy to me. I can't understand it. I mean, uh, then the soccer gods gift us an advantage,
Wow.
right?
Can you
They
believe
gift
that?
us an advantage. We don't get that, right? We
We
get that.
wasted that.
The 68th minute, that's when that happened. So we were up a man for at least 34 minutes, not counting the stoppage time, which was like World Cup class stoppage time of like 12 minutes. With all of that, forget about scoring a goal. We didn't have a shot on target in 34 minutes. 34 minutes, right? So I'm not
Hmm.
even saying it's not about who's better, who's not. We couldn't get a shot on target in 34 minutes. That's a third of the game. And it's like we look at that stuff and it's like people are like, oh, but we're still in seventh place. I swear I think somebody at the home office looks at does all the statistics, and they're like, you know what? If we lose this, we're still in the playoffs, so don't worry about it.
Right, right. And we're going to talk about that because I know,
I,
personally, I wanted to say, well, it was we lost against a team in the Western Conference, so the damage is not that brutal.
yeah,
Excuse
but
me,
you
it's
lose a
not that
game, you
brutal because
should win. But you lose a
it's,
game, you should win it. You
I,
should be like, what's wrong?
I
We're
understand, my
we're on
friend.
a
I understand.
5 game winning streak. I mean, 5 game winning streak of which one was a draw. So it's not a 5 game winning. I mean,
Right.
ugh, don't give me. Yeah. So
Listen,
anyway,
if you want, if you want to go over the match stats, 13 shots for SKC, 12 for us. 6 shots on target for Sporting Kansas City, 3 of them obviously goals. And for Orlando City, one.
hmm
The possession was 53% for Orlando City and 47 for Sporting Kansas City. Obviously, 53% because we had the man advantage that we completely wasted. Passing accuracy, 77% for Sporting Kansas City, 81% for us, which again increase obviously because of the man advantage. The expected goals were 1.21 for us, 1.29 for them. We had 6 corners that we did not use properly. They had three. We had 10 fouls. They had nine. We had one offside, which is the goal that was called back, and they had two. We had 2 yellow cards, and they had 2 yellow cards. They had the red card, and we didn't have anything. When you look at the stats, you're like, okay, well, it was a fairly contested until you see how many goals were scored per team. Excuse me.
yeah.
And
Agree.
to be honest with you, this was something that took a lot of people by surprise because we went to Leagues Cup against inferior competition, and that created this mirage that we were back, right? That we were back, but the problem that we have, Ahmed, is that we have said many times that we have to try something different. That we have to look into changes, and this fan base gets mad if you uh, basically suggest changes to the coaching staff or the players. They get mad if you support the coaching staff and the players. So you're condemned if you want changes, and you're condemned if you want to stay the same. It's like being bipolar here. Like damn if you do, damn if you don't. And personally, when you look at teams like Columbus that don't have the Messis and the Barca squad supporting them, um, but yet they won the Leagues Cup. They're in the Open Cup final. They are definitely a contender for MLS Cup. I mean, a team like that is doing what it needs to happen, and unfortunately, we in a market the same size, everything very fairly equal. We can defeat a SKC that is basically fighting for nothing. We have 2 comments. I mean, if you don't mind checking those out.
Yeah, we have a few actually. So Jim D's with us. Hey Jim. He says, I remember when it's a long season and don't worry about it. Drop points early on can come back to haunt you. Yeah. Um Colin OCSC says this is a game we needed our DPs to lead and carry the team and they all choked. And then Jim D says, I say a red doesn't help us because we lose that time in transition. That's the only time we can score. 10 men tend to sit back and we're stuck. And you know what? I do kind of agree with Jim because that is what happened. And that's what they had us on those transitions. But you know what? You have to be able to adapt to that. If a team like that is catching our deficiencies in that sense, and they're able to say, we're going to catch them we're going to shut them down in that transition. Well, adapt, do something. I mean, like seriously, what are we if we can't adapt to somebody being prepared?
No, and I agree. That was my fear when that happened because I knew that they were gonna park the bus because they had the advantage. They're at home, and they figure us out. They figure out Facundo Torres will never shoot with his right foot. They figure out that they could beat Kyle Smith with speed. And I gotta be honest with you. The fact that Facundo Torres was sat down in favor of Azucara, who had played 90 minutes the night before in Atlanta. Azucara played 90 plus minutes with Orlando City being in Atlanta. Jumped on an airplane, flew to Kansas City, and yet so that amount of minutes to me outrageous, shocking.
I
This team had 2 weeks off. This team had two
yeah.
weeks off, and one of the problems that I have, Ahmed, is that we right now are looking at barely making the playoffs. If we finish seventh, we're gonna be fighting against FC Cincinnati away at home, and if we finish eighth, if we which is not guaranteed, right? We if we finish eighth or ninth, and we have to win that wild card game, who do we get? Messi and the Barca boys, and they
Oh
will
god.
love to embarrass and humiliate us. Honestly, do we have the energy to go ahead by the way, Messi's not coming to Orlando because he doesn't see us as competition. He doesn't see us as a threat. That's something that you should know, and that's something that embarrasses me and angers me. That perhaps he will never play in Orlando because he sees it as an opportunity to rest. Because we have allowed ourselves to fall from the heights that we achieved last season. And right now we are a team that is predictable, and we're a team that people can figure us out and beat us. When you look at, I gotta tell you, when I have seen the highlights of Sporting Kansas City, it's a team that had the same manager for going on 2 decades. They haven't won anything since, I believe they haven't won MLS Cup since 2013, so it's already 11 years. They haven't won any trophy since, I believe, 2016 when they won the Open Cup. So they're a team that people have already know what they're gonna do. I mean, and most of the players they have right now are players that are consistently in that team for years. And yet, yet we went there and we allowed them to beat us when we have gone and defeated them several times already. What happened? I don't know. Maybe,
I don't
maybe,
know.
yeah,
I don't
it's
know,
one of
man.
those things alongside with Are We Alone in the Universe? Where's Jimmy Hoffa buried? And it's one of those things,
Where
man.
is our team?
Exactly. Perhaps we'll find them with Bigfoot somewhere in the woods. Um, Orlando City is coming to a three-game stance, and um, that's to tell you guys that is uh, starting this Saturday against Nashville. Excuse me for a second while I find this.
What are you looking for the
Um,
schedule?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Saturday 31st, be there against Nashville, a team that is not making playoffs and a team that we can defeat. But then again,
Yeah,
the
famous
same thing
last
was
words.
said about Sporting Kansas City. Then we're gonna play the following Saturday against New England, and then after that we have a game on Wednesday against Charlotte that has been doing very well, but it's a team that we can't forgive them. We have to beat them, especially since we're at home. After that, we're gonna close the month of September going against Columbus, which they are red hot right now. I don't see us winning that game, and then going to DC. I'm sorry, to FC Dallas, a team that is not making playoffs, and it's gonna be in their house, so anything goes. Then we are going to come back and play at home against Philadelphia, another team that is in the search for playoffs. FC Cincinnati, and in the house, which and then
Atlanta.
we close the season against Atlanta. So, um, anything to add to that, my friend?
We can't lose. There's not a game that we can afford to lose. If we yeah, it's just we can, the teams we're talking about that we should easily defeat. I can't say confidently that we can after the results we saw this past weekend. And anybody that says they disagree, prove me wrong. I mean,
No,
we
absolutely.
went from being on a quote, unbeaten streak of 5 games, including one draw. So what happened? Where'd that team go? If we really are insisting that we're gonna make the playoffs, I don't know. How many of these games do we actually can we afford to lose on
None,
paper?
none. We can none of those games. In fact, the horrible
I
first
mean,
half of the season.
because Philadelphia and said this last not the last two the Philadelphia and Cincinnati, we need to at least win those, if not make a draw. Cincinnati.
Right. If you look at the standings as of right now, by the way, Miami already clinched.
Oh, and
You can look.
Columbus too, by the way.
Yeah. As of right now, we're on seventh place simply by a point. Toronto, if Toronto hits a good stride, they can leapfrog us. Atlanta is too far behind, but a couple of games and boom, they can beat us. Charlotte is has a good 4 point lead against us, so that is critical that we beat them when we play them. As of the rest of the season, we're only playing Cincinnati and Columbus above us. We're done with Miami. We're done with Red Bulls. We're done with NYC. We have one game against Charlotte, so it's critical that we get something out of Cincinnati and Columbus and Charlotte. Cincinnati and Columbus, obviously, difficult to do, but then we have Atlanta, Philadelphia, who are below us, and Nashville. So
Hmm.
those have to be something wins or at least a tie for us to get to the seventh place. But I'm gonna say it again, and I said it before. Um, Making the playoffs just to get our teeth kicked in the first round, to me is not success at
Yeah,
all, at
absolutely.
all.
I mean, anything other than a deep run, I can't even bring myself to say it like with seriousness because of the way we're playing. Because we make it into the playoffs. Do you really, right now, if we were to say we're in the playoffs, even if it's at seventh place, do you think we're gonna make it far in the playoffs?
Of course not.
Come on,
Oh, absolutely not.
come on. We can't. I mean, I can't even like. I have a bad poker face. If you couldn't tell.
We have to accept, my friends. We have to accept that when we look at our roster, we have players that have underperformed, and we have players that are not living up to the expectations. That's it. And I say it again. You know, we have to honestly look at ourselves and say, hey, perhaps a managerial change will transform this. I don't buy into the idea that if we make a managerial change, it's for the worse. If we get rid of some of the players that are underperforming, that we're gonna do bad. We can never operate in this environment where making changes is for the worse. Personally, in real life, I made changes. Some changes have been horrible, but I tried. You cannot live life on what ifs. What ifs? We know people that, oh, had I done this, had I done that, had I. No, we have to do that. Columbus in the last 4 years has missed the playoffs twice. 1 year by our own hand, but the 2 years that they made the playoffs, they won with two different managers, by the way. And Cincinnati went from being the worst team in the league to a Supporter Shield contender. Friends, these things happen because they were not afraid of making changes. Personally, I think that being mediocre and mid-table, it's gonna kill the momentum. You already see it when people are going, "Hey, I'm not." There's a lot of people that are not renewing their season tickets this year. They went up. The price went up, and a lot of people say, "Hey, I'm satisfied with going to 4 or 5 games a year, and then watch the rest on TV because I know that this team is not gonna achieve anything. It's just squeeze by the playoffs. We're gonna get beaten, and then people are gonna be like, "Yay, success!" And then we're gonna do it all in the next year, and the next year, and the next year. And that, my friends, it's I'm sorry, that's not something I want to be part of. I want to, if I'm gonna make the playoffs, I want to have the possibility of winning them. To me, that's what's critical. Um, Not much to say, Ahmed.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a short show, and my apologies to the fans. If you can, yeah, go ahead and read the
yeah.
comments.
We have one comment from Colin. He says Philly, Cincy, and Columbus feel like guaranteed losses. Absolutely, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's quite possibly, my friend. But
I would love to say you're wrong. But if you know what, here's the thing though. That's the thing with this team. You go to play a team like Sporting Kansas City and you lose, then you play a team like Columbus and you actually play a good game and you could win. We've
no,
done it.
absolutely,
We've done it. I mean, we've done it, but not this team. Last season's team did that. Last
yeah,
season's team would do that. This season's team, I don't know what's going on. Because you know
not
what?
for
That
sure.
that 5 game winning streak that we're talking about, who were the teams that we beat, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we beat teams that we were supposed to beat, and then the teams that were the competitors in the playoffs, we did
That's
not
my
beat them.
point. Yeah, we
So,
beat Toronto, New England, Nashville, and wait, Toronto, DC United, New England, Nashville.
mhm,
And then when we came by to NYCFC, that's when we had our draw, and we were still
yeah, for
unbeaten
sure.
at the time.
Um, Gonna have to cut it short, my friends, because the baby's not feeling well. So, and my apologies to the fan base. I gotta be honest with you. If today is the day to cut it short, because quite honestly, there's not much to say. So in conclusion, we're gonna be playing against Nashville this Saturday. I believe we should win. The fans should show up. The boycott is over. Whatever it is, I think at this point the team needs us, and we have to show up, and we have to prove to them that we're there. But also the team has to prove to us that they learned the lesson, and that they have to win. And I asked the question, Ahmed, out into the space, out into the void. If we are to lose or to tie this Saturday, are we really gonna make the playoffs?
I really don't think so. I don't think so because you know N- Nashville is going through their own things, right?
Hmm.
I feel like it. We this is a win we need. We need it because to get out of this whatever this funk is that we're in right now. Um, and but the thing is, if we win, it needs to be it needs to be like a DC United style win.
Right. I agree with
You
that.
remember that game? It needs to be that type of a game to be like, yes, it's not just yes, we won against the team that we should win because of the circumstances they're in. This needs to be the type of win that makes you walk out saying, yeah, we're gonna win this.
Right. No, for sure. I'm
you
with you, my
know,
friend. I'm
that
with you
for
on
me,
that.
that's the only way it's gonna feel like anything, you know. If we don't win though, yeah. I don't know what to say.
No, for sure. So we will see. We'll see you guys next Monday to talk about this. Again, my apologies to our audience that perhaps were expecting a longer show. Like I said before, I had some life changes, and and that's interfering with my ability to do the show. So again, my apologies to everybody. Um, we'll see you next Monday. Hopefully, this Saturday we get to walk away with a win. Again, if we're to lose or tie, things are gonna get really, really, really interesting as we move forward. But like we always say, football's cruel and unpredictable. So we'll see about that. I made any departing words for the fans.
Win, win, win. We need a win. That's more for the team than for the fans, but I think I can speak for them at this point.
That's absolutely correct. Well, my friends, thank you again for tuning in. We say goodbye the only way we know how by reminding everybody that football is played on grass, not on paper. That football is cruel and unpredictable. Football is a pound of talent and an ounce of luck. And if you haven't cried for joy or anger over football, how do you really football? For myself and for Ahmed, may God bless you. And as always, vamos, Orlando.